The massive alien exploration vessel Star Seeker hung motionless in the void of space, its scanners focused on a peculiar object floating among the debris field. Captain Jack Wilson stared at the holographic display, his weathered hands gripping the command rail as the sight before him grew clearer. "Another piece of space junk," sneered First Officer Reed, his tentacles waving dismissively at the image. "This sector is full of human remnants." The object in question was unmistakably a warship of human origin. Its hull was scarred and pitted, bearing the marks of countless battles. The vessel was nearly as large as their own ship, but its design spoke of an earlier age, when humanity first reached for the stars. "Look at those primitive weapon mounts," chuckled Engineer Thomas, his four eyes blinking in sequence. "They still used physical projectiles back then. How quaint." The bridge crew joined in the laughter, but Captain Wilson remained silent. Something about the derelict ship bothered him. Its presence here, so far from any known human settlement, seemed wrong. "Bring us closer," he ordered. "I want a detailed scan." The Star Seeker's engines hummed to life, pushing the exploration vessel toward the ancient warship. As they drew near, more details became visible. The hull was made of materials rarely used in modern shipbuilding. Thick plates of reinforced steel and titanium alloys, rather than the energy-dispersing composites favored by current engineers. "I'm detecting faint power readings," reported Science Officer Mills, her crystalline form catching the light from her console. "Barely there, but present." "Impossible," Reed scoffed. "That thing must be at least 200 years old. No power system could last that long." Wilson leaned forward, studying the ship's markings. Under the layers of cosmic dust and battle damage, he could make out writing in the human alphabet. "Can anyone translate those markings?" Mills adjusted her scanners. "It appears to be U.S. Thunder, a designation from the old United States of Earth Navy." The Thunder. Reed's tentacles went rigid. "I thought that was just a myth. The ghost ship that appeared during the Centauri War." "Myths often have a kernel of truth," Wilson mused. "Prepare a boarding party. I want to see this relic up close." The boarding team assembled in the launch bay. 6 of the Star Seeker's finest crew members, equipped with the latest scanning technology and protective gear. Wilson insisted on joining them, despite Reed's protests. As their shuttle approached the Thunder, the true scale of the warship became apparent. Despite its age, it was an imposing sight. Gun turrets larger than their shuttle lined its flanks, and massive engine pods hung silent at its stern. "Look at the inefficient design," one of the technicians commented. "All that exposed hardware. One good hit from a plasma cannon would tear it apart." They found an entry point, an airlock that still retained enough power to cycle. The boarding party entered the Thunder's dark halls, their lights casting long shadows through the abandoned corridors. "The air is still breathable," Mills reported, checking her instruments. "Life support systems must be running on minimal power." They made their way to the bridge, passing rows of empty crew stations and defunct computer terminals. Everything was larger than necessary, built with a brutalist philosophy that favored durability over elegance. "What a waste of space," Reed muttered. "Modern ships can do twice as much with half the room." Wilson ran his hand along a console, wiping away years of dust. "They built things differently back then. Built them to last." "Built them to fail," Reed corrected. "There's a reason we don't make ships like this anymore." The humans eventually learned better. As the boarding party continued their inspection, none of them noticed the subtle changes in the ship around them. Deep in the Thunder's core, ancient systems noted their presence. Backup processors began running decades-old protocols. Power levels, previously dormant, started to rise. "This will make an excellent addition to the museum," Reed declared. "A perfect example of how far we've come since the early days of space travel." Wilson wasn't so sure. Throughout his long career, he'd learned that humans rarely did anything without purpose. This ship, this position, its dormant state, it all felt deliberate. But he kept his concerns to himself as the boarding party prepared to return to the Starseeker. The Thunder would be their prize, a relic to be studied and displayed. None of them realized they were about to learn why human warships had earned their fearsome reputation. The alien technicians swarmed over the U.S. Thunder like ants on a fallen giant. Their advanced scanning equipment probed every corner of the ancient warship as they prepared it for transport to their museum. But something wasn't quite right. "These power readings make no sense," muttered lead technician Adams, his metallic skin reflecting the emergency lights they'd set up throughout the ship. He tapped his datapad with growing frustration. The energy signature keeps changing. His assistant, Parker, floated nearby in the engine room, her anti-gravity belt humming softly. "Could be degraded power cells. This thing is ancient by our standards." Adams shook his head, all three of his eyes focusing on a particular readout. "No, this is different. Look at these patterns." He pointed to a series of waves on his screen. "They're too regular for random decay. Almost like." "Like what?" "Like breathing. Like something sleeping." In another section of the ship, Junior Engineer Roberts was having his own strange experience. He'd been assigned to catalog the Thunder's weapon systems, a task his superiors considered a waste of time. But as he studied the massive gun turrets and missile tubes, something familiar kept nagging at his mind. "Computer," he called out to his personal AI, "compare these weapon designs to known military archives." "No direct matches found," the AI replied. "However, similar design principles appear in." The AI's voice cut out suddenly, replaced by a low hum that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Roberts felt the deck plates vibrate beneath his feet. "That's not supposed to happen," he whispered. Back on the Starseeker, Captain Wilson was reviewing the preliminary reports when First Officer Reed burst onto the bridge. "Captain, you need to see this." Reed's tentacles were twitching, a sign of agitation in his species. "Our translators finally decoded more of the human writing. There are warning markers all over the ship." Wilson straightened in his chair. "What kind of warnings?" "Most are standard security notices, but there's one that keeps repeating in different locations. It's written in 17 different alien languages, including some that went extinct centuries ago." "What does it say?" Reed's voice dropped. "Guardian of the Void. Sleeper in the dark. Do not wake." Before Wilson could respond, Science Officer Mills interrupted from her station. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations from the Thunder. The power readings are increasing." "Increasing? How is that possible?" "Unknown, sir, but there's more. The ship's hull, it's changing." On the main viewer, they watched as centuries of cosmic dust seemed to slide off the Thunder's surface. The dull, scared metal underneath began to take on a different appearance, as if something was awakening beneath the skin of the ship. Back aboard the Thunder, Adams and his team were starting to panic. Every system they'd labeled as dead was showing signs of activity. Lights flickered in supposedly powerless corridors. Ancient computer screens blinked to life, displaying strings of code in human languages. "We need to get out of here," Parker said, backing away from a console that had suddenly begun humming. "This isn't right." Roberts, still in the weapons section, made a discovery that turned his blood cold. "Captain," he called over the comm, "I know why these weapons looked familiar. They're not primitive at all. They're purposely disguised. The external hardware, the exposed components, it's all a cover." "Explain," Wilson demanded. "These aren't projectile weapons, sir. The housings are fake. There's something else inside them, something far more advanced." And he paused, checking his readings again. "They're powering up." Wilson immediately keyed the emergency channel. "All personnel, evacuate the Thunder immediately. Repeat, all personnel evacuate." An alarm from Mills cut him off. "Captain, multiple ships just dropped out of hyperspace. Unknown configuration. They're charging weapons." "Pirates," Reed hissed. "They must have been tracking us." As the crew of the Starseeker scrambled to battle stations, No one noticed that the Thunder's external cameras had all activated at once. Deep within the ancient warship's core, more and more systems were coming online. Centuries-old processors began running combat simulations. Power surged through long-dormant conduits. In the Thunder's main computer core, a single message flashed across every screen. 3 TDETCTE. Defense Protocols. INITIATE. Awakening sequence commenced. The Relic was about to show them all why humanity's warships were once feared across the galaxy. Chaos erupted as the pirate ships opened fire on the Starseeker. Plasma bolts and energy beams sliced through space, forcing the exploration vessel to take evasive action. Captain Wilson barked orders as his crew scrambled to raise shields. 3 heavy cruisers. Reed shouted over the alarm klaxons. "They're trying to box us in." A stray shot from one of the pirate vessels streaked past the Starseeker's hull and struck the U.S. Thunder. For a moment, everything seemed to pause. Then, something extraordinary happened. The impact point on the Thunder's hull didn't burn or melt as expected. Instead, the energy from the blast seemed to be absorbed, spreading across the ship's surface in a web of blue lightning. Deep within the vessel, ancient machinery roared to life. "Captain," Mills called out, her crystalline form vibrating with excitement. The Thunder. Its power readings just went off the scale. On the main viewer, they watched in amazement as the Thunder's transformation accelerated. The dull, battle-scarred hull began to shift and flow like liquid metal. Panels that had appeared to be simple armor plating split apart, revealing sophisticated weapon systems that had laid hidden for centuries. Inside the Thunder's computer core, a voice that hadn't spoken in 200 years filled every corridor. Combi Protocols Activated. Threat ACSS Mantian Puro Jury SS. Weapons Systems Online. The voice was neither male nor female, but carried an authority that made everyone within earshot stand still. This was the Thunder's AI, awakening from its long slumber. Multiple hostile contacts detected. The AI continued, initiating defense of civilian vessel. The last few technicians still aboard the Thunder found themselves being gently but firmly guided to escape pods by security fields that appeared out of nowhere. As soon as they were clear, the ship's internal atmosphere vented, and new systems began powering up. "Look at that," Roberts whispered from his position on the Starseeker's bridge, where he'd managed to escape just in time. "It's beautiful." The Thunder was now fully awake. Gone was the appearance of an ancient, decrepit warship. Its hull gleamed with a polished sheen that seemed to drink in the light of nearby stars. Weapon ports that had appeared to be simple gun turrets revealed themselves to be housing technology far beyond anything the aliens had seen before. The pirate ships, noticing the change, turned some of their attention to the awakening vessel. They fired a full broadside, expecting to destroy what they thought was a helpless relic. Their shots never reached their target. A meter from the Thunder's hull, they simply ceased to exist, absorbed by defensive fields that had been centuries ahead of their time when they were new, and were still impressive now. Warning! The Thunder's eye broadcast on all frequencies, its voice carrying a weight of authority that made even the pirates pause. "You have engaged in hostile actions against a protected vessel. Stand down or be destroyed." The pirates responded with another barrage of fire. The Thunder didn't dodge. It didn't need to. "Very well," the AI said, almost sounding disappointed. Combat protocols fully engaged. What happened next would be talked about in space bars across the galaxy for years to come. The Thunder's supposedly primitive weapon housings split apart like blooming flowers, revealing arrays of technology that made the aliens' most advanced weapons look like children's toys. "My God," Wilson breathed, watching his tactical display. "Those aren't weapons. The whole ship is a weapon." The Thunder's hull began to pulse with a deep blue light. Energy readings that the Starseeker's sensors couldn't even classify began to build. The temperature of space itself seemed to drop around the ancient warship. "Reed," Wilson said quietly, "get us as far back as you can. I have a feeling we don't want to be too close to what happens next." As the Star Seeker retreated to a safer distance, the thunder rose from its slumber like a warrior of legend. The pirates were about to learn why humans had been so respected and feared during the great wars of the past. The roar of its engines built to a crescendo that seemed to shake the very fabric of space. The guardian of the void was awake, and it was ready for war. The pirate vessels hung in space, their weapons still trained on both the Star Seeker and the now awakened thunder. For a moment, everything was still. Then the thunder's eye spoke again, its voice resonating through every communication channel. "ACCSSing Historical Combat Database. Loading battle is scenarios from the Third Frontier War. Tactical analysis complete." Captain Wilson and his crew watched in awe as holographic displays appeared around the thunder, visible even from their position on the Star Seeker's bridge. The displays showed hundreds of past battles, each one a testament to human military prowess. "That's impossible," Reed whispered, his tentacles curling in disbelief. "Those battles, they're from the Legend Wars." The thunder was there. Not just there, Mills responded, scanning frantically. According to these readings, this ship was instrumental in winning them. The thunder isn't just a warship, it's the warship, the one that turned the tide at the Battle of Proxima. The thunder's external armor continued its transformation. Layers of apparent rust and damage peeled away, revealing weapon systems that seemed to bend the very light around them. The ship's true form was emerging, sleek, deadly, and purpose-built for combat. "Attention, Star Seeker," the thunder's AI announced. "This vessel was stationed here as part of Operation Eternal Vigil. This sector contains a strategic CHOKE point. Human High Command designated it as critical to galactic stability." Wilson leaned forward in his command chair. "You mean you were left here on purpose? As a guardian?" "AFI, mate, this vessel's presence is not accidental. We are one of 12 Sentinels placed at HFY strategic locations. Our mission: to awaken needed and protect civilian TRFIC from hostile forces." The pirate ships, perhaps sensing that the situation had changed dramatically, began to adjust their positions. One of them fired a warning shot, a mistake. The thunder's response was immediate. A beam of energy, so focused it appeared almost solid, lanced out from one of its transformed weapon ports. The shot passed straight through the pirate vessel's shields, as if they didn't exist, slicing off its primary weapon array with surgical precision. "They do is able earning," the AI stated. "This vessel contains combat data from 2,947 major engagements. We AVDEFEATED forces have are superior to yours." On the Star Seeker's bridge, Roberts was frantically analyzing the thunder's capabilities. "Captain, those weapons, they're not just advanced, they're revolutionary. The thunder isn't using standard energy weapons or projectiles. It's using controlled space-time distortions as weapons." "Impossible," Reed scoffed. "That's theoretical technology. Even our best scientists haven't managed to weaponize space itself." "The humans did," Mills replied quietly. 200 years ago. The thunder's hull now glowed with a soft blue light, energy coursing through patterns that seemed to form and reform constantly. Its engines, once thought dead, pulsed with power that made the Star Seeker's sensors struggle to comprehend. "This vessel was designated as a HRDCONTER to an form of space combat," the AI continued. "Our weapons were specific ALOY engineered to bypass all conventional defenses. A final warning. YT or be engaged. Wilson watched as data streamed across his command console. Information the Thunder was sharing about its capabilities. His eyes widened as he understood the true scope of what they'd awakened. "It's not just a warship," he said to his crew. "It's a testament to human engineering. Everything about it. The seemingly primitive design, the exposed weapons, even its apparent age. It was all camouflage. The humans left their most advanced technology here, hidden in plain sight, waiting to protect anyone who needed help. The pirates, still not fully comprehending what they faced, maintained their aggressive stance. Their commanders probably thought they could overwhelm this single vessel through sheer numbers. They were about to learn why human warships had never needed numbers to win their battles. The Thunder's engines began to power up to full capacity, its weapons systems locked onto every hostile target simultaneously. The legacy of human military might was about to be demonstrated once again. The pirates struck first, launching a massive barrage of energy weapons and missiles. The space between the ships lit up like a newborn star as hundreds of weapons converged on the Thunder. Analyzing ATTCK-PTRN, the Thunder's AI announced calmly. Primitive. Predictable. Initiating CUNTR, min EASUREs. What happened next defied the laws of physics as the aliens understood them. The Thunder didn't dodge. Instead, the space around it seemed to twist. Every single shot fired by the pirates curved away, missing the ancient warship completely. "That's impossible," one of the Star Seeker's officers shouted. "They're bending space itself." "Deploying offensive systems," the Thunder declared. "Executing combat PTTR in Alpha CVN." The warship's hull rippled like water. Weapon ports that had been disguised as ancient missile tubes transformed into something far more terrifying. Beams of pure darkness shot out, cutting through the pirates' shields like they weren't there. "They're not energy weapons," Mills reported, her crystalline form vibrating with excitement. "The Thunder is creating localized tiers in spacetime. Nothing can stop them because they ignored normal space entirely." Two pirate ships exploded instantly, their hulls split apart by weapons they couldn't even detect. The remaining ships tried to scatter, but the Thunder was faster than anything its size should be. "Engaging pursuit protocols," the AI announced. "Activating QUA drive." The Thunder vanished. Not with the flash of a normal jump drive, but simply ceased to exist in one spot and appeared in another. It materialized directly in the path of the fleeing pirates, its weapons already firing. Captain Wilson watched in awe as the Thunder demonstrated why humanity had once been the most feared species in the galaxy. The ancient warship moved like a dancer, each motion precise and deadly. Its weapons struck with surgical accuracy, disabling the pirates' engines and weapons without destroying the ships completely. "It's toying with them," Reed whispered, his tentacles curled tight against his body. "It could have destroyed them all instantly, but it's choosing not to." "ATE into IO and hostile vessels," the Thunder broadcast. "Your combat capabilities AAVBEEN in EU2 or ALIZD. Surrender is RECUOMME indeed." The largest pirate ship, apparently their flagship, responded by launching its entire complement of nuclear missiles. The Thunder's response was almost casual. "Nuclear weapons, DTECTD, deploying containment field." A sphere of distorted space appeared around the Thunder. When the nuclear missiles hit it, they simply vanished. No explosion, no radiation, nothing. They were simply gone, as if they had never existed. "The containment field," Roberts explained, reading from his console. "It's not blocking the missiles. It's sending them somewhere else, possibly into another dimension entirely." The pirates, now truly desperate, tried to ram the Thunder. The ancient warship responded by releasing a wave of energy that stopped all movement in the area. The pirate ships hung motionless, caught in what appeared to be a localized time dilation field. Combat HFY Stories of hostile forces, 0%, the Thunder announced. Engaging FI and ALKNT and ENT proto-civils. Streams of silver light emerged from the Thunder's hull, wrapping around each pirate vessel like a web. Where the light touched, systems shut down. Weapons went dead. Engines failed. This engagement is TONCLUDED, the AI stated. Star Seeker, you may AP pro HHA and CQR the hostile vessels. Their crews are unharmed but contained. Wilson stood on his bridge, watching as the Thunder's true power was finally revealed. The ship that they had mocked as primitive, as outdated, had just defeated an entire pirate fleet without taking a single hit. "Thank you," he transmitted to the Thunder. "We owe you our lives." "Great to be is unnecessary," the AI responded. "This is our purpose. Humanity left us here to protect. It is we do." The Thunder's hull continued to pulse with power, its true form now fully revealed. Not a relic, but a guardian of unimaginable power, left behind by a species that had mastered the very fabric of space and time. And this was just the beginning of what it could do. As the Starseeker's crew secured the disabled pirate vessels, the Thunder maintained its vigilant watch. Its hull still rippled with power, the once disguised weapon systems now fully visible in their true, terrifying glory. "Captain Wilson," the Thunder's AI called. "Your vessel's presence here is not coincidental. Approach and prepare for data transfer." Wilson exchanged glances with his bridge crew before guiding the Starseeker closer to the ancient warship. As they drew near, a holographic display materialized between the two ships. "NIT-18 Historical Database EACCESS, displaying true purpose of Operation Eternal Vigil." The space between the ships filled with images, star maps, battle plans, and tactical projections. At the center was a pulsing red marker indicating their current location. 200 years ago, the ad began. Humanity detected something approaching from the galactic core. Something that made the worst pirates look like children playing with toys. The hologram shifted, showing a massive dark mass moving through space, consuming everything in its path. The sight made Wilson's scales stand on end. "We call them the Void Hunters," the AI continued. "They emerge every 1,000 years to feed on civilizations. The last time they came, they nearly destroyed everything. Humanity stopped them, but at a terrible cost." "That's why you were left here," Mills whispered, her crystalline form dimming in realization. "This isn't just a patrol zone. It's a defensive line." "Correct. 12 the UNDRCLAS vessels were stationed at strategic points. We are ETE Guardians, the first line of defense. The pirates UNCOUNTERED were not random raiders." The hologram zoomed in on the captured ships, highlighting strange modifications to their hulls. Modifications that seemed to pulse with an unnatural darkness. "They are inefficated, corrupted. The Void Hunters send their scouts first, taking over your local vessels and crews. The ATK today was a test of our defenses." Wilson felt a chill run through his body. "You mean the Void Hunters are returning earlier than PRDICTED? My awakening was not just to save your ship, Captain. It was because the first phase has begun." The Thunder's hull shifted again, revealing even more weapon systems. But these were different. They seemed to glow with their own inner light, pushing back the darkness of space itself. Humanity did not abandon this CTTR, the AI explained. They leftuis he as centennials, eqpdwite, he ag only weapons proving FFCTIV against the void. Our appearing to primitive design ways KMOUFLAG, hiding our true purpose until we were needed. More holograms appeared, showing the other 11 Thunder-class ships stationed across the galaxy. One by one, they were lighting up, awakening from their centuries-long slumber. The network is REACTIVA. Anghe. The Guardians are AWAKing. But we do ILL NED help. The AI paused, and when it spoke again, its tone was different, more urgent, more human. Captain Wilson, your ship was drawn here by encoded signals we've been broadcasting for decades. Your people have proven themselves worthy allies. We need you to carry a message to the Galactic Coalition. The Star Seeker's communications array suddenly lit up with data, coordinates, tactical information, and warning signals that needed to be distributed throughout civilized space. Tell them the Thunders are awake. Tell them the ancient enemy approaches. And tell them that humanity's last gift to the galaxy stands ready to defend them all. Wilson stood on his bridge, looking at the magnificent warship before him. What they had mistaken for a relic was actually the most advanced weapon system ever created, designed by humans who had sacrificed everything to protect the future. "What do you need us to do?" he asked. "Survive," the Thunder responded. "Spread the warning. Prepare your defenses. The Void Hunters, whilst human enforce, and UOJN they do." The warship's engines flared to life, its hull now blazing with power that could be seen from light years away. They will find the Guardians waiting for them. The revelation was clear. The Thunder wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's final testament, their promise to protect the galaxy even after they were gone. And now, that promise was about to be tested. 2 weeks had passed since the Thunder's awakening. The Star Seeker remained in the sector, now part of a growing fleet of Allied ships responding to the ancient warship's call. Captain Wilson stood on his bridge, watching as vessels from a dozen different species took up defensive positions. "Fleet formation analysis complete," the Thunder announced, its presence now a comfort rather than a source of fear. "Deploying tactical UPDATES to all Allied vessels." The gathered ship's computers suddenly came alive with new information. Combat tactics developed by humanity centuries ago, specifically designed to fight the coming darkness. "It's remarkable," Reed admitted, his earlier skepticism completely gone. "The humans didn't just leave us weapons. They left us everything we need to fight back." A flash of darkness at the edge of their sensor range interrupted the moment. The void between stars seemed to ripple, and something massive began to emerge. "Void Hunters DTCT," the Thunder declared. "Multiple capital class entities. This is not a scout force. This is an invasion fleet." The enemy ships were unlike anything the Allies had ever seen. They seemed to be made of living darkness, their hulls absorbing all light that touched them. Where normal ships left engine trails, these left tears in space itself. "All ships, battle positions," Wilson commanded, his voice steady despite his fear. "Follow the Thunder's lead." "NITWAT and combat protocols," the Thunder announced. "Deploying solar LNC airways." The ancient warship's hull transformed one final time. Every weapon system aligned perfectly, creating a geometric pattern that seemed to capture and amplify the light of nearby stars. The darkness approaching them actually recoiled. "They fear it," Mills whispered. "They fear what humanity created." The Void Hunters struck first, launching waves of energy that ate through normal matter like acid through paper. But the Thunder was ready. Its defensive fields flared, not just blocking the attacks but reversing them, turning the void energy back on itself. ATT Tidwayon Allied Fleet, the Thunder broadcast. Observe and learn. This is how we defeat the darkness. What followed was a display of combat prowess that would be remembered for generations. The Thunder moved like a creature of pure light, its weapons tearing through the Void Hunters' supposedly impenetrable defenses. Each shot was precisely calculated, each maneuver executed with perfect timing. The Allied ships followed its example, using the tactical data it had provided. Ships that would have been instantly destroyed now held their own against the ancient enemy. The Thunder had turned a collection of scattered vessels into a real fighting force. Void Hunter fleet at 60% strength and falling, the AI reported. Their tactical advantage is lost. They expect to find this CK2R defense less. Instead, they had found humanity's guardian waiting for them, surrounded by allies who now knew how to fight back. The battle reached its climax as the Thunder unleashed its full power. The geometric patterns on its hull blazed with the light of 1,000 suns. Space itself seemed to bend and flex around the warship. Daybreak. The light grew until it was almost unbearable to look at. When it faded, the Void Hunters were gone, not destroyed, but banished back to whatever dark dimension they had emerged from. In the aftermath, the Allied fleet gathered around the Thunder, no longer seeing it as a relic, but as the guardian it truly was. Captain Wilson opened a channel to the ancient warship. "Thank you," he said simply, "for everything." "Gratitude, noted, but unnecessary," the Thunder responded. "This is the HFY or created humanity. Can you they Mike NOTB he or howard the next battle? So they left us to fight GT in their place." The alien crews, who had once laughed at the seemingly primitive vessel, now looked upon it with awe and respect. They finally understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their determination to protect others, even long after they were gone. "The Void Hunters will return," the Thunder announced. "But when they do, they will find this galaxy ready. Humanity's legacy lives on through all of you now." The ancient warship stood proud among its new allies, a bridge between the past and the future, proof that sometimes the greatest power lies not in what something appears to be, but in what it truly is. The guardian of the void had awakened, and the galaxy was safer for it.